All right, today we're gathering with Countess Luann de Lesseps, RHONY icon, star of Countess Cabaret, which is currently on tour. Luann, it's great to have some time with you. I know you are living your best life out in the Hamptons right now. How are you?
I'm good. I'm great. It's been a great summer, and I've had some time off because I've been on constant kind of tour with my shows, and so it's been nice to have a break.
Yeah, totally. And I know that you have two shows coming up, Chicago and Toronto.
hmm
And am I wrong in that you're kind of debuting a new kind of concept in the Luniverse? That's what we're calling this show, right? Talk to me about
Yes.
sort of what how that show is going to be different from previous ones.
Well, listen, my cabaret shows are one thing, and cabaret, I need a big band stage. And some venues don't have that capacity; they just don't have a big enough stage, etc. So I put together a show, really for that everyone can come to. That if I can't be there doing cabaret, they can come and see me talk about the most iconic moments that have gone down.
Got it.
Excuse me. About the most iconic moments that have gone down in like RHONY history. So what I do is, I come out to a little, song because I have to, right?
Of
I
course.
have to sing something, right? Chic, and and then I go through clips, and we see clips of housewives, and I kind of break that down
Oh,
because
interesting.
a lot of people don't know what happened behind the scenes. So there's a lot of tea that gets spilt in this show that you would not get from watching the Housewives, first of all, and second of all from my cabaret. So this is just it is built to reminisce, to spill the tea on those moments that happened and what really happened. And also, I open it up to Q&A with the audience, so they can ask me anything they want, and and then I can't let them leave without giving them some money. So,
Love.
so yeah, it's a really fun show. People are into it, because of the things that I know that nobody does.
And those fan Q&As, those really kind of open up Pandora's box, I feel like.
Absolutely. And I love that. Even when I do cabaret, I engage with the audience. I do housewives trivia. Like, how much do
Right.
you think you know about the housewives, right?
hmm
So, sometimes we'll play Mary F. Kill. It just depends on the questions, because I get a
Yeah.
lot of those kind of questions, like who would you marry? And that's actually why I made the tour, the Mary F. Kill tour, for my cabaret. And I'll be back with a new tour. It's always a new show. I just got asked to do Mardi Gras in Australia, so that will
Amazing.
be more about kind of the Love Hotel. I actually talk about the Love Hotel in the Luniverse show.
hmm
Also, like what it was like, and what James is really like, and why I walked away from certain boys. So yeah, so I'm always working on new music. I'm working on a new song right now for next tour.
Yes.
And I'm going to be talking about all the things that I'm up to today, and what the girls are up to, because I see a lot of the housewives.
Yeah, and I've seen that. And I just saw you repost from Meredith that you're going to be doing a cabaret show in Vegas during BravoCon weekend, which is, I mean, there's nothing smart. That's the smartest thing you can be doing. That's amazing.
Right. When I found out the dates of BravoCon, I called my agent. I go, I need a Vegas. I need a Vegas show.
Yep.
So I'm so happy, and it works out really great because a lot of the women are available. So a lot of the girls will be coming to my Vegas show, because it's not a
Yeah.
Watch What Happens live night. So I'm excited. I'm gonna have a lot of Bravo celebrities at that show. And it's always fun, to have another housewife in the room because the fans love it.
Oh yeah,
So
beyond. Yeah. Well, Lou, and I've been to your show three times. I went to the
you,
original 54 Below run.
wow.
I went to Atlantic. You were at the Borgata, kind of. I think maybe not that long after that. I want to say that was like kind of in the same. And then I
Okay.
went to you. You performed at one of the BravoCons. I feel like was it the first
Yeah.
BravoCon?
Yeah. It was
Yeah,
the very first BravoCon. I
yeah,
did a full on cabaret show for them.
yep,
And who knows what they have up their sleeve this year, but I'm excited to have my own show in Vegas at the same time.
yeah. Well, I always say that like there's just nothing like being in a room of Bravo fans, whether it's at your show or at BravoCon. So I think
Right.
combining that energy is like that's going to be pretty special. I think.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it's going to be great.
So you also are going to be on Murdoch Mysteries, which is that a return for you to the show?
That's a return for me. I had a small, part last season, and I guess I'm kicking off their very first episode.
There we go.
So for season 19, I believe. So that's super exciting. I had a much bigger role this time, and so I had to really pull out my acting chops.
Well, that also shows you that the first time went well if they're having you back, you know?
Right. Well, that is a good sign. That is true.
I
So,
completely agree.
I do scripted once in a while. I've been on Law and Order,
Yep.
Royal Pains, various shows like that, and nothing like Murdoch, because that is like really special to play a woman from 1920 or 12, or this era. I mean, this you know decade or century.
Hmm.
I mean, to play this character from this, from this time was really a trip. And they're like, well, they didn't wear much makeup those days. I was like, well, okay.
Well,
But
I still need my glam.
what's that?
You still need some of the glam, the Housewives glam.
Of course. Well, I got away with a little bit more glam because
Good.
my character is a performer. So we would expect that she wears a little bit more makeup.
There we go. She has access to finer things. So Luann, you mentioned Love Hotel, you mentioned James. Any update on where you and James are? I know that you were just kind of having fun. You're living different places. When was the last time you chatted with James or saw him?
James, I talk to him all the time. I mean, James is very special, and I adore James. But he lives in Hawaii,
Yeah.
and I live here. But James came to surprise me at a show that I did out west. I can't remember exactly where it was, but he came, and I was near Salt Lake City. Anyway, so he surprised me. We keep in touch because
Good.
yeah, it was the real thing, and I think people saw that.
I think so too. I think you have such a fun rapport. It's just like it's like giddy, you know.
I know.
That's what's part of what made I think Love Hotel such a fun watch. Like I genuinely just loved that show start to finish. But
Oh,
the fact
thank
that
you.
the fact that it produced a great connection in you and James, I think
Mhm.
was a testament to it. You know?
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
I had a great time. I mean, listen, they're like, we're going to send you away for 3 weeks to Cabo, and we're going to pay you, of course, and we're going to find you guys. Like, yeah, Habibi.
Say less. Say less. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
Habibi.
Is there anything that obviously Love Hotel, your season was the first time they've ever done that, and I think that there's an appetite for more seasons of it, whether it's with different housewives or other Bravo celebrities. Is there something that you think that they could tweak to the show going forward, whether it's like more people, less people? I don't know. Like, is there anything that you
Well,
think would you would change?
I do actually. I would make me the host
There we go.
because I'm really good at it.
I agree. I agree. You're very good at it.
I'm good at, I was giving the boys notes the whole time. Just give a love note. I hadn't, Wale give a love note to Ashley. I
Hmm.
told him, go over there. You're interested in her, go and get her. I did that many times during the show. So, and then with James as well. So, yeah, that would be a dream for me to host that show.
Was There was obviously a lot of that controversy also leading into the show, so I feel like you could be you it would be great. It would be a great, I think, a little nice little change, I think, for season two for you to be there. I really think that.
Mm, thank you.
um, so recently, Luann, Carol was on Watch What Happens Live. She made a big return. What was your reaction to seeing her on that, given her and Andy's history and kind of they clearly had smooth things over?
Listen, I like it when people make up. I think it's so important. And also with the housewives, there's conflict, and you like to see resolution. You don't want to see this ongoing battle. So, I thought it was great. I see Carol once in a while at parties and things, and I'm always very nice. It's not like dislike Carol. I like Carol. Um, and so I think it was a good thing. I think she also spoke kindly about me. And so I was happy to see her back. It was kind of like, it's like your cousin you haven't seen in a long time. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
We're related somehow because of the housewives. When I see Ramona, it's like she's like my half sister, you know? And I
it's a
see
shared
Jill.
experience.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I see Jill all the time. I see, Kelly, and I've been texting, and we just had lunch, Sonia and myself and the girls. So, we see each other because we are like family. We spent, over a decade on television.
Hmm. Hmm. And she said it was funny because it's funny hearing her talk about she wasn't sure if you two were supposed to be mad at each other or not. She couldn't remember if you guys had bad blood or not. But it was do you she said it felt like you were sort of back in the show because that's sort of the dynamic that you fall back into. Do you feel like that when you see her or some of the other women that it's like you just fall right back into the dynamic
My
that we
God,
all know?
I wish we had a camera, at lunch, because Sonia was, I don't know what she was saying. I was like, really? Are you delusional? I mean, and I got mad at her. Oh, she was still angry that she didn't come to the Berkshires that one year with Ed Dorinda's, that she couldn't get. She's still mad. I said,
Wow.
Sonia, come on, that was 10 years ago. Uh, and the girls are all going like they're cowering in the corner, because I tell Sonia what I think, and I'm direct.
That's
And I
good.
think
She
that's
needs
what
to hear
people,
that.
she
Yeah,
needs to hear that. I'm like, you shouldn't be mad. I said, first of all, there is no yesterday. There's only the moment, and we do not have tomorrow. So drop it.
totally.
The
Totally.
girls are like this.
That is
I
so funny. It's the same. It's the same as we all know, you know?
Oh, nothing changes with Sonia. Sonia
And
Rita.
Luann, it's funny because I recently did a podcast where they you sort of revisit big Bravo moments from the past, and the one that
Yeah.
my episode was the leg toss that Aviva did. And I think what's interesting about it is because in my mind I was like, God, she was doing so much back then. Like it really, it really isolated her. And I'm in hindsight now, I think, given sort of where Housewives has gotten to, I think there's a slight more appreciation of sort of the stunt of it all and sort of the spectacle that I think we expect now. But I feel
Oh,
like,
she was devious, Aviva. She was devious, and she had that very well planned out. And I miss Aviva because Aviva was good TV. I got to say,
yeah,
right?
it was this thing where it was like it was great TV, but I feel like correct me if I'm wrong, but it kind of felt like in hindsight that her biggest error was just she got herself so isolated from everybody else. It was just
Well,
her on an island.
you know, I think that was really her swan song because once your legs on the table, what more do you got to give? I mean,
Right.
yeah, she kind of paved that way for herself, and I don't think she realized that once you throw your leg on the table, what else you got? I mean, so
Yeah.
but I do, I think about that moment, of course, and I play that moment in my show,
Right. Right. Is there
and talk about that moment.
yeah, and so that's something that people can expect to be talked about at the
Absolutely,
Looniverse. Right. There we go.
exactly,
Some secrets
exactly.
behind the scenes. I'm
Hmm.
curious because I feel like your cabaret show, Luann, and all the different iterations of your live touring,
Hmm.
I really feel like you were ahead of your time with that. You were the first one to really do that as a housewife. It was a
Hmm.
huge hit. It remains a big hit.
Hmm.
But now there are all these different offshoots of, and it's smart of them to do it. There's all these different housewives touring things where they talk about stuff. And do you feel like you were ahead of your time with that? Because I personally believe that you were.
Well, I started. Let me tell you how I started cabaret quickly. So a friend of mine said, "Lou, and this is a while, like, at least 15 years ago." He says, "Lou,
Yeah.
you love to sing for your friends, you love to host parties, and you wear a dress like nobody else, and you can
Mhm.
tell a joke. You're funny. You should be doing cabaret." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And then I married Tom, and so Tom, there was no way Tom would let me
Sidetracked.
do a
Right.
cabaret show, no way. And so then really when the shit hit the fan for me, cabaret saved my life. And it started really as a variety. It was Countess and Friends, and I
Hmm.
had a lot of guests. I mean, I had
Yeah.
Murray Hill and Bridget Everett and Rachel Dratch from SNL. Lance Bass has been in my show. I mean, I've had big stars in my show, and then then kind of COVID hit, and the traveling became a thing, and then my director is Richard J. Alexander, who directs
Yeah.
Kristen Chenoweth and
Major.
Bette Midler and Barbara Streisand, to name a few, said to me, "You don't need to have guests. You can carry this show on your own." And so then it really morphed into cabaret. Instead of Countess and Friends, it
Yeah.
was really cabaret. And you know what? I did something out of my love affair with life, because I do love to sing for my friends. I do love to host parties. And I do love to tell them jokes. So it kind of morphed into cabaret. And I realized I filled a void in a place where nobody was really doing what I was doing.
Hmm.
So, it happened naturally and organically. And I think, that's the secret to success is that I do what I love. I talk about what I want to. I tell you stories, and that's how I build the show. I pick a song that I love, then I go, okay, what story is going to get me there? But it has to be funny.
Yeah,
And then it's what dress am I going to wear? Like I'll cover Tina Turner, so that's got to be short and all
absolutely.
about the legs. So
Fringe.
that's that's how I do my shows. So I think I did fill a void in a place where cabaret was missing. All the best are gone. Cheetah, Liza.
Hmm.
Liza's here, but she's not performing anymore.
Right.
But and Bette Midler. They were all my inspiration. Carol Burnett was my inspiration. Cher. Those are showgirls. I'm really a showgirl, and
You
I, I,
are.
I and I love being on stage, and people can tell.
I think, yeah, I was about to say it. It's very clear that you love it, and I think that that's infectious. And I do think it's a really funny show. I do think it's a really entertaining show, and I just think that I don't know. I think that you're sort of a forebear in that space when it comes to, especially the Bravo sphere. And I think that I don't know if you get enough credit for that. That's just sort of why I brought that up because I think
Well,
it's
I
cool.
appreciate that.
Yeah,
I do. So, have you seen um, my latest show?
I have not seen your latest show. I
Oh,
need to I
okay.
need to come. I need
Oh,
to
yeah,
come.
absolutely.
I'll be in Vegas for BravoCon, so I think maybe I should go to that.
Well, you have to come on the 14th. You're going to love
Yeah,
this show.
I need to
It's
go.
really, it's really my greatest hit show.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I love it. Um, so Luann, a lot has been made of this, and I don't really want to ask the same questions that have been asked about like OG Roni, new Roni. We've talked about that a million times. The
Right.
one thing that I'm curious about, because I feel like it's sort of the common party line or the common conception about quote unquote what went wrong, why did we didn't get the true Roni legacy split from the reboot. And
Hmm.
my theory on it is that I think they should have locked down Legacy and announced it before the reboot because fans would have known that we would have had you guys still on our TVs. It wouldn't have been a question. Then there would have been more of a welcoming energy to the reboot
Hmm.
and those women.
Hmm.
Um, do you do you agree with that idea that like if we had known that we had had Lou and Dorinda and Ramona and you all back, that it maybe would have gone differently?
Well, I mean, it was a big thing to swab up the cast completely. I think they should have added to the cast and did that, but they decided to do both, and then one after the other kind of fell off the wagon in terms of like Jill didn't want to do it. I mean, she did, but then there was contractual things.
Yes,
So
that was my
there's a
next
lot of
question.
politics that go on with it, and then all of a sudden we're replaced. So so all of a sudden we're like replaced. So they tried something out, it didn't work, and I think they're going to try it again, and
Yeah.
hopefully they'll bring one or two of or three of the OGs around for a little visit. So
I
let's
think that'd be smart because as we
well,
saw, like all Hamptons, all summer in the Hamptons, we've seen you all hanging
right,
out all the time. It's like
right,
it's
right.
true. It's
I
true
know.
connection.
It is true, and true friendships. And I think that was the biggest problem is that they threw this new cast together who didn't really know each other. We have
Yeah,
history, and I think when you have history, it really makes a huge difference for a franchise, whether it works or not. And and at least send us on an ultimate girls trip. One more. Let's go below deck with
please,
Captain Sandy.
please. I mean, Luann, I'm just sort of like, what's the big deal? Why can't we do one Roni Legacy girls trip a year? Why? What's the one
Uh,
week?
Absolutely. Send the OGs everywhere. But the other thing is, part of the draw of New York City, RHONY, was the city.
Yeah,
People
absolutely,
they either lived in the city and they miss it, or they've never lived there and they want to see it. So I love the Ultimate Girls trips. Don't get me wrong, but I think people really want to see New York and see us step out like Sex in the City. Gave us.
absolutely. Yeah, you mentioned the thing with Jill, and you and Jill are still very close friends. You're very close, and you see each other all the time. Did that moment complicate your friendship at all when that was happening? Because she basically went public with the contract stuff. That's what sort of how it played out. But
Right, right. Well, no, I tried to help her navigate.
mhm,
I rallied for her, because otherwise it was me, Dorinda, Sonia, and Kelly. Because at the
right,
time, Ramona was,
right, on the outs. Yeah.
on the outs. So there were very few of us. So we really needed Jill.
Hmm.
So, that's part of the reason it didn't happen either. I mean, I think, in retrospect, I was part of the problem too because I wasn't happy with my contract. So, you know,
Got it.
but we could have done the four of us, and they probably would have added to the cast. So in
Right.
retrospect, it was kind of our own undoing.
Mm. Where do Jill and Dorinda stand? Because you're close. You talk to both of them. but they have had a complicated friendship over the years.
Well, I think that they're friendly to each other now,
Okay,
but let's not call them besties.
got it. Okay. um, a couple of random questions for you about Roni. I think there were only four sort of one season women. There was Cindy, Barbara, Jules, and Ebony. Who would you have given a second season to? Who do you think could have deserved another shot there?
I think
Any of them?
Jules. I think
Okay.
Jules.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Hmm.
I think I agree with that.
Hmm.
Um, it's interesting because Miami's back now, and I think that one of the reasons why that show is kind of so successful right now is because they were gone for almost a decade. They were off air for so long, and
No, I was there when they brought the back. I was literally in Miami having
oh yeah,
lunch with the girls. Oh yeah, it was a birthday party for a friend of theirs. So I was with Alexia and with Mary Sol, and Adriana was not there. But so, and I remember them going. They came back to us, and who do you think they're gonna? And Alexia was like, "Well, I know for sure." So they went to. I think they went to her first. This is the scoop.
I believe that.
And yeah, and then I think Mary Sol. She's so happy with her hubby. I love that man for her. And so I said to her, don't bring him around. If you want to keep the marriage alive, keep him out of the show as much as possible.
Mm.
And so, but and then yeah, that's so I was there when that all went down.
That is so funny. Part of the reason why I kind of think that it is so successful is that they knew what it was like not to have the show. Like it was taken away from them. So they sort of know and I feel like I'm curious the one season where you were made a friend of,
Yes.
did that impact like your relationship to being a housewife in terms of like savoring it and knowing like, because
Well, I felt
you
like
were still around a lot, but
I got punched in the stomach. That's how I felt.
got it.
Uh, that's true.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's all contracts.
Got it. Got it. But it didn't give you sort of an extra sort of appreciation for what
I
it
I
meant.
would no, yeah, I wasn't even in the main screenshot. I was like, I got a real
Ridiculous.
slap on the wrist. Now, after all the time I put in, it was a big slap for
Mm,
me. But sometimes you just have to eat it and move forward
right.
and not
And that's what you've
hold a
done.
grudge.
And that's what you've done. Yes.
Mm.
Um, Bringing up the Miami women, I'm reminded because you are such good friends with Marisol in particular. Like they were around sort of during those early days of Housewives, and it's fun to sort of think about maybe some of those crossover moments from back in the day. So I just want to end our chat, Luann, with just bringing up some OG housewives, some
Okay.
longtime housewives, and just hear a story or your connection with them, if you are friends with them or not. You mentioned the Miami women already, so you and Nene, did you guys ever have a friendship or relationship?
Nene and I are friendly. Yeah, but I don't see Nene that much. She is in Atlanta, first of
Yeah,
all, but I do play Atlanta, and I also like Phaedra will come to my shows. Phaedra is fantastic. Nene a little harder to get,
yeah,
um, but we're friendly. Yeah, we met each other at the airport one day and flew to DC, same day, same flight. So we
love
we
it.
connected there, and then of course I'd see her at BravoCon.
Hmm. What about the Manzos from Jersey? Did you have a friendship with either of them?
Friendly, but not big. I more
Okay.
friendly with Teresa and Melissa because of our OG Ultimate Girls trip.
Right. Oh my gosh. Is it weird navigating that, or is that totally fine for you to
Well, during that cast trip, that was the first Ultimate Girls trip to,
I know, yeah. Yeah,
and so they were still getting along at that point.
they were. Yeah,
Mhm.
that was a cordial moment for them, right?
Yeah.
Kyle and Kim Richards, two OGs sisters of Beverly Hills. Did
Oh,
you
Kyle, I love. During that trip, the first Ultimate Girls trip, Kyle, I would pass her room and I would hear, "Money can't buy you crying." Money. So Kyle's coming to my show in Vegas, and I don't know her sister very well.
Okay. Okay. Well,
I know Kathy better. I know
oh
Kathy.
yeah, you do.
Yeah,
Have
sure.
you've known
I
her
was
for a
at her
while?
Christmas party last year. I was at her Christmas party at her house last year. Her
I
pajama
love it.
party.
Her pajama party.
Yeah.
Another Atlanta, Kim Zolciak from season one of Atlanta.
I have not seen her in years, but we're friendly
Really?
because we like music. So there you go.
There we go.
And she's
Uh,
and she's a nurse,
she is a nurse. Yeah, two
and I'm a
nurses. There
nurse.
we go. There we go. Dallas was a little bit later, but did you ever kind of connect with those women? Any of the women on
Sure,
Dallas?
Carrie Duber. I love Carrie.
I love Carrie. She's
Yeah,
awesome.
I see
She's
her.
awesome.
Like I'll play. I'm going to be playing Texas soon,
Okay.
um, if and maybe Dallas. So, but Carrie has always been great, and I love her. And I'll pop in and have a little visit, get some work done.
There we go. A friendship with benefits. I love that.
Oh yeah.
And then lastly, your run on RHONY was sort of ending as the Salt Lake City women were starting their journey, and I think a lot of people see some of the OG RHONY energy in the Salt Lake City women, and I think that's a huge compliment. Um,
Yes.
I think
And
you and
Meredith is
Meredith
one
and
of
you
my
are
besties.
friends.
I
Yeah,
love Meredith. Yeah, she's one of my. So, yeah, I don't know a lot of the cast of Salt Lake, so I'm looking forward to BravoCon so I can reconnect with all of them.
good, good. Well, Luann, I really appreciate your time today. This has been such a joy to hear
Thank
about what you're up
you.
to now, and obviously you're so game to look to reminisce a little bit, and I really appreciate that. So you have your two shows coming up in Toronto and Chicago. When are those? Where can people buy tickets? Make sure we plug it
Well,
before we sign
I'll
off.
be September 13th. I'm going to be in Chicago, doing Countess Cabaret, and when I get to Toronto, I'm doing the Luniverse show, which is a different show, which I think the fans are really going to love, and I think that's October 9th, if I'm not mistaken.
Love
And
it.
you can get tickets at CountessLuann.com.
Love it. Everyone go see it. Two amazing shows. And Luann, again, I really appreciate your time today and enjoy your rest of the holiday weekend in the
And I'll
Hamptons.
see you at the Luniverse.
Absolutely. I'll be there in Vegas. I'll be
Okay.
there in Vegas. All
Oh,
right.
okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
All right. Bye,
Thank
Luann.
you.
Thanks so
Bye.
much.
Thank you.
I want to gab.